So we left the Pong game with the ability for us to control the paddle with the keyboard. Okay, so when we click in here and we can press D for down, U for up, and it will change the direction. So now what we want to go on and do in this video is we're going to have the paddle which will move up and down, and we're also going to introduce the ball. But now the ball's just going to come in from one end, straight through the paddle, and then go back again and straight through. So we just want to be able to have the paddle controlling and the ball moving at the same time. There's no collision detection involved in this. It's just simply the ball moving across the screen with the paddle moving. So let's go ahead. I'll stop this just now, simulate, and stop it just now. And we've got the code here. So the code we looked at yesterday was the Pong 7 underscore key press. So now we're on the Pong 8 ball. Okay, so again, I've left the code in and I haven't really commented the code that's just remained the same. So we'll just talk about the code that I've added in. So all of these symbolic constants are the same, so are these ones and these, but we've added a few extra in at the top, so there's another 4 here. So we're going to just basically have the ball starting position, which is over in the right hand side of the screen, and then we're going to pick the furthest left point, which is the very last position on the left of the screen. And we've got the ball step as well. So the step in this case, again, it's -1. Okay, so FFFF will represent our -1. And we've got the ball colour, which we'll leave it at white for the moment. I've made a note of what the registers are here. So that should actually say, well, yeah, register R0 is just the palette, which is green. And we've got R1, which is black. And again, the paddle top position, the current movement direction of the paddle, and the scratch or the keyboard input. So we talked about these previously, and these lines are all much the same. And we're going to draw the paddle again. So this is the same as what was done previously. We draw the paddle, and we're going to have now at this point here, this is a little bit extra. We're going to have the ball set up. Okay, so the ball start is going to be in register R3, the ball colors register R5, and it draws the initial ball, okay, at its starting position. And then we're going to look through the keyboard as well. So again, we don't have any interrupt mechanism, but I am working on one at the moment, and it should be finished relatively soon. So that rather than us going and continually polling the keyboard and asking whether the key has changed, we're going to have an interrupt, so that the interrupt can come in and it will run through a little interrupt program, which will prevent us from having to poll the keyboard all of the time. So it's about a bit more kind of a professional way, or a way that it would be done in a proper CPU. But anyway, that's something I'll show you in the future. So we're going to go through this keyboard. Now this is just the same as the previous one. Okay, so you're going to have to loop through and decide whether it's going to be the key pressed is going to be up or down, and dependent on what keys pressed, you're either going to choose the move paddle up or move paddle down subroutine. Okay, and here's the move paddle section, and the move paddle down, and the move paddle up. So all of that is just the same as what we had in the previous piece of code. Now the extra bit here is the ball movement. So it's really just this section here that we're interested in. So it's two sections. Are going to be the ball, which is going to move from the right hand side of the screen to the left, and when it gets to the end, in effect it resets and goes back again and just keeps running through exactly the same horizontal line continually. Okay, so one of it is the ball initially moving, and then the second subroutine is the reset position. Okay, so these are kind of self-explanatory because we talked about this when we looked at the pixel moving across the screen. So we go through the same process of the pixel moving across the screen. The only difference is that we do a test to find out whether it has actually reached the end of the screen. Okay, if it has reached the end of the screen, then we simply jump to the reset and it jumps it back again. Okay, so that's all this bit of the code does. So that's pretty much all of that code there. It's very much the same as the previous one. I don't want to talk through it in too much detail. Again, you can always open it up and have a little look at it and a little play with it yourself. So if I was to get in, and we will just load this up so we can get into, we'll reset this and we'll load up the new program. So open, and it's going to be Pong 8. So Pong 8 ball, and we'll run it up. Okay, so you can see the ball coming in from the right hand side. It gets to the end and then it just comes back in again. Okay, so it's not really doing an awful lot. And you can see that the down and up arrow keys, we've got to click on the keyboard, the down arrow key here and the up arrow key. Okay, you can see the ball will run a little bit slower whenever we push the up and down arrow keys. And this is the problem with us not having an interrupt mechanism, because every time it redraws it, so it's sitting still and you can see the ball moving a little bit quicker. Okay, so if we had an interrupt mechanism, it would run a little bit quicker. And in fact, one of the interesting things about designing these bits of software to run games is the initial design that you do in order to get it to work. Because the machine is not necessarily super fast, we're actually doing what game developers would have done in the 1980s. They would have been looking at how can we speed everything up. So they're going to start to try to write the code so that you could speed everything up and make it a lot faster. So this is quite an interesting kind of topic. Now, another thing to note here is that we can come on, once we finish the Pong game, there are other games that we can potentially use the Pong game as a basis, and we can extend it to generate other games. Okay, and we'll see that as we start working through a few other games over the next few weeks. So that's everything for the actual simulation. So let's have a wee look ahead again and we'll see what we're going to do. So in the next video, we're going to look at the collision. So this is where it gets interesting. What we're going to do is have the ball going up and down. We can control it with the keyboard, but it's going to go from the right to the left. Okay, and then whenever we'll do a test and see if it's in the range of the position of the paddle, and when it's in the range of the position of the paddle, we probably will get it to bounce just straight backwards. Okay, right now, but it'll bounce straight backwards and then probably it'll go off the end of the screen and come in the other end of the screen and things like that. But initially we'll just get the bounce working when it's at the paddle. So that's what we'll get on to in the next video. So thank you for listening. I'll get you on the next video. Goodbye.